Okay, I think we're live.
Yes, sir. Looks like it.
Yeah. Okay. She's just dialing up the YouTube folks.
There we go.
Okay. Anybody on there yet?
Yeah, there's
Oh,
folks
cool
popping in right
people.
now.
Got 4 of our best friends.
There you go.
Let's wait a minute and see who's jumping on. No, I'm good. Thank you.
It's like a few more hopping in.
Yeah, I see George is on there. Graham, hi, George. How are you doing? Jeff Willis, good morning. Legacy Ride Shares on, of course. Bill, William. Hope everybody had a great holiday season. Maybe we get this COVID behind us.
Yeah, sooner or later.
A couple of 3 months or 4 months. Let's see. Ron, good morning. Jim, Walt Brown. What's the weather like there in Wichita?
It's chilly today. We were in the 20s, so.
Oh, in the 20s?
Yeah, I got a little cool, but we had a little snow, maybe 6 inches about a week ago or so. So we get that every now and again, but not too bad. 32 now, working its way up.
Yeah, we're got a warming trend here going next week.
Yeah.
70 during the day.
Yeah, I mean that's tough to beat, right? So
yeah. Right now it's not cold out. It's only 54, so it's going to warm up pretty decent today.
Yeah, it looks like we'll have some days in the 60s next week, so we'll go from the 20s to the 60s. It's that's our high. It's always a treat.
Yeah. Pino's on. Let's see, James Jones, Jerome. Hi, Meredith. Eris is on. Let's see. I guess we can get started. I mean, no use making everybody wait. You want to jump off first, or you want me to start?
Fire away. Why don't you start us off, and then I'll
just go over some housekeeping stuff, get everybody up to date where we are, what's happened over the holidays. Current events. I sent out a shareholder letter yesterday to all the shareholders in the company, and walk them through where we are. So right now where we are, we have the ghost kitchens in Canada and US. We're working diligently to open the Toronto market. We also have another restaurant group of 25 restaurants in Toronto that are going to jump on board with us. So when we light Toronto up, we'll have 4 or 5 ghost restaurants in that town, of additional 25 restaurants, and whatever else comes along over the next 3 or 4 weeks. What we have to do for Canada, which we're working with the lawyers up there to become a legal entity, we have to open a small office, 1, 2. We have to get everything set up in currency, for Canadian dollars and all that stuff, and actually set up a whole new website for that to happen internally. So anyway, our tech guys are scoping that out, what it's going to take to get us up and running over the next couple of weeks. We talked to our card processor. Coincidentally, they work with a Canadian bank already, so it's not going to be a big deal for us to get on board up there. The whole thing is probably about 30 days out before we launch that market. So that's in Toronto. And then from there in Canada, we'll go to Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, the other major cities that Ghost Kitchens is opening there, and then we'll start opening them in the US. So what it looks like in the near future, we're going to open Toronto. We have Nashville, which I'm a little disappointed in the ramp up of Nashville. It just seems like nobody's really working. I've asked a lot of people to get on board to open it because traction means everything for us. If we have no traction, it's very difficult for us to, decide to go public because, you'll just be wasting your time. If you got traction, you can open anywhere and make it happen, and then all the good things happen. So Tony and I are gonna be working on a plan on Nashville to get that thing fired up and moving. Atlanta, Orlando, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach. We're doing that deal with restaurant managers, and we have since given them our API. They're working through that over the next couple of days. Look to be in some kind of test environment with them starting probably midweek next week. If that all works out, I'm sure we'll be testing for a few days. And that means then we're going to open those markets, or we're going to have to start really bringing on drivers and riders drivers and consumers, because those markets have probably about 1,800 restaurants in those 4 markets. So it's a good jump off point. I want to mention also on Nashville, while I'm thinking about it, we had about a half a dozen restaurants sign up last week, and they signed up on their own. There's no sponsor. They found the app, they heard about us, they went in and signed themselves up. I mean, whoever signs those people up, you get that 40 cents, you get all the incentives going forward. So, if the restaurants are signed up by themselves, they must want something, which is low cost provider in the marketplace. I mean, that's all they really care about. I've had a bunch of calls over the last week in regards to that with restaurants, not only in Nashville, but other places. We have a call coming up with Denny's next week, corporate call with them, and they have, I think, 1,800 restaurants around the US. That doesn't mean we're going to get them all. I wouldn't even try to take them all on. I'd only take on selected markets that work to our advantage to start with. But those are the things that are going on in the markets. We want to get launched. We have a plan to launch 75 markets this year. So right now we got a long way to go to get there by the end of the year. Also this week on Tuesday night, we haven't sent the announcement out yet, but on Tuesday night, we're going to send out an announcement for a marketers only meeting invite. This will be, if you're not a marketer, you will not be invited. It's not because we don't like you. We want to share the information with the people closest to on the ground that are working hard to do things. So there's going to be a marketer meeting on Tuesday night, 6 p.m. PST. That'll be Tony and I. We'll probably have 1 or 2 guest marketers come on and speak about what they're doing and how they're going about building their market, because there are guys building. I mean, if you take George Graham, he brought the restaurant manager program. That is a life changer for anybody. That program, if we do the right job for them and we get more stores or more restaurants out of it, that's a life-changing event for George and anybody else that picks up a major chain. So anyway, so Tuesday night, a marketer meeting, invite only. Also, we're pushing the payment back in Nashville to February 6th now. The reason, there's not enough activity there to start trying to charge people for their subscription fees, so we're just going to move it back. Again, the speed of the growth of the company is the speed of what you guys are working out there. It's no more complicated than that. If you want to see this company explode, you got to go open a market that's just on fire that you can't touch. It's so hot. Also, next week sometime, you'll see in your back office, you'll see 2 new terms in the back office. One is customer marketer and the other is driver marketer. So that way you can identify in your back office who your people are and are they marketers or non-marketers, things like that. So we're trying to improve the experience of information flow back to you guys so you can manage your business a lot better. And I would encourage those that have not gotten on calls or not gotten in their back office, they should go back there, because pretty much everything that we've looked at is working fine. So we want to continue to ramp up that business. That's about all I have. We'll take some Q&A after Tony talks a little bit, but Tony's been working on a bunch of stuff.
Right on, Bob.
We talked about it. Yeah.
Well, we're working on a couple things that I should have done. I'm working on one thing this weekend that I'll have done for next week. Leonard had messaged me, which I always appreciate feedback from the field guys. If you guys are in the trenches and gals are in the trenches and you have something that we can offer that you believe will assist you with getting restaurants, getting drivers or whatever, just let us know. Some things are doable, some things aren't. Well, this is doable. We're gonna create a webinar. I'm gonna try and keep it around 5 minutes, maybe less. on restaurant acquisition, not a training, but something you can actually send to a restaurant manager or a restaurant owner, where I'm going to go through the one-page documents with them, and it's just going to be a video that you can share. It's going to explain the advantages to Trip. It's going to explain the cost analysis. And it's something that, when you explain this to the right people, you will be able to bring on a lot of restaurants in a short period of time. Coyette is one of our marketers up in Toronto. Made an introduction to a gentleman that I spoke with that has 25 Caribbean restaurants there in Toronto. And we got on the phone and I started chatting with him, and he does a lot of business with Uber Eats right now. Through his 25 locations, they do $100,000 a week in revenue for delivery through Uber Eats. And when he heard about our model and it was explained to him properly, he understood that the savings are phenomenal. When you look at his rate, they cut him from 35%, they got him down to 30%. So every week he's paying $30,000, and the average order is around $40. So $30,000 a week he pays to Uber Eats in commission. And with Trip Delivers at his $40 average order, he'd pay $2,500 a week in fees. I mean, that's a game changer. Let's call it even at a lower order rate, let's call it 5,000, but at 2,500 an order, he's saving over $1 million annually, maybe 1.4 million annually. And so what he's envisioned, he's like, the second you guys are ready to go in Canada, let me know, because as we get our drivers, everything set up in Toronto, every Uber Eats order that goes out, he's going to put a promotion for Trip Delivers where he's going to offer a free meal to every single customer that orders from Uber Eats. He's going to give them a Trip Delivers promo card, and they're going to get a free delivery from any one of the 25 locations that they have. And so he's going to convert them from Uber Eats customers to Trip Delivers customers. That's one of the best marketing tools that we could possibly dream of. And when you've got what I call kind of co-branding, co-marketing, working with your restaurants, that's the easiest and cheapest way to start to spread the word. And they're piggybacking. So when they take a DoorDash order and an Uber Eats order or Postmates order or one of the bigger companies' orders that's going out of their restaurant, and they've got that bag with the food in it, and they fire in a little promo card, that's a game changer. I mean, you're literally getting free marketing on the restaurant's dime, but the restaurant understands, this guy understands if he can save $1 million a year, it makes sense for him to fire in a free meal to every single person he can convert. And you don't have to convert that many, but you might convert a lot of people over because they mark up prices on Uber. They won't mark up with us. They'll get better service with drivers, better service for the restaurant. So it's a win-win-win. And so, we're going to work to get more restaurant acquisition tools out there to you guys. I'll have that video done very shortly. We'll get it posted out there so you can go to a restaurant manager or restaurant owner and just, if you're not comfortable doing a presentation, you can just share that video with them and it'll go through the Trip Delivers model and why it's so much more lucrative for a restaurant owner or restaurant manager versus Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, and the other big players that are out there. We're also getting closer on our Verb Marketing app. They've got initial content. They're going to be sending that back over, kind of a skeleton application, and a few tweaks after that, and we'll have the Verb Marketing tools, and they'll also be working on a replicating websites. I talked with Pino, one of our marketers, again, gave some great feedback, and he's wanting to do some cold market recruiting, things like that. So we're working on getting, capture pages together with Verb Marketing, replicating websites so you guys can, basically recruit people, send them to your link, and they'll sign up right there and link to you, whether they're a customer, a driver, a marketer, or a restaurant. You'll be able to send them your referral links and things like that. And that's coming very shortly. Nashville, I'm working on some boots on the ground marketing tools for the team in Nashville, things that you can go out. When I started our markets in Topeka, Kansas with my original delivery company, I went to every business in that city. every single business, from eye doctors, chiropractors, to Frito-Lay has a plant there. I went everywhere. I went places where I had to go through security and stuff. And, it was like no soliciting signs everywhere. And, I'd walk in, and I remember, every now and again you get somebody, security be like, "Hey, no soliciting." He's like, no, I'm not selling anything. We're just wanted to let you guys know we're opening our business. I had a free delivery fee promo card for you, so I'm giving it away. We're not selling anything. And so just want to let you guys know. And you'd see people light up. I mean, a lot of people were excited that we were coming into markets. A lot of people are tired of the horrible service they're getting with the Uber Eats and the DoorDashes and Grubhubs of the world. And so when they see someone local, they see someone walking in, marketing the business, say, "Hey, I'm here in town. We're expanding right now. We want to give people a better experience on their food delivery services than all these huge companies that are in San Francisco and, customer services out of India. And, we want kind of a local feel. And so you're there, boots on the ground. It's going to be a way where you can, market to your customers. You can, we'll have a blank area where you can put your promo code in there. That way, when that customer decides to go order, they enter your promo code, it links to you forever. You make that commission fee every single time. So working on more and more tools that you guys can use to really automate the process as much as possible, so that those marketing tools will be out pretty much next week. We'll have some of those available for you guys. And, obviously, as Bob said, we've got other cities that we're working on with, some strategic partnerships that should be, coming just around the corner. And, bottom line, it's a simple concept, guys. I've got, someone that's going to be helping with driver recruitment, and we're probably going to do that on the corporate side, create leads. And if you're in a certain market and you're helping us grow and you're doing a good job, those marketers are going to get that round robin lead generation for them. So, Nashville will be looking at marketers that want to help recruit drivers quickly. We're going to be funneling leads for drivers. And then we'll also have driver training, how to recruit drivers, how to sign them up. We've got a little bit of that stuff, but as we start to develop these leads and funnel them into you, we're going to tell you, script word for word. Hey, if you call this person, here's what you're going to say to them. So all that marketing collateral, all that training is going to be, right there at your fingertips in your back office on your app. We're going to have video training through the Verb Marketing app. So things are definitely moving in the right direction for our system. There's still, obviously a few things we're working on, and there's always going to be things that we're going to tweak, and we're going to be open to suggestions from the field. But I think we're within 1 to 2 weeks away from really having a pretty automated system where if you've got a restaurant that's interested, you're going to have some tools you can send them that'll get them, over that edge to be able to pull the trigger and become a partner of the Trip Delivers family. If you've got a driver that's interested in making more money, maybe leaving the Uber family or DoorDash family, you're going to have the tools at your fingertips to be able to share with those drivers, to be able to move them forward. And if you've got businesses and people you want to market to get a customer base growing in your market, we're going to have that marketing collateral there for you as well. So you can start to share that information. You can start to build an organization that's got customers, drivers, restaurants, and a team of marketers that are out there spreading the word. It's a really simple concept, guys. For those of you that are in markets that are getting ready to pop, there's hungry people out there. There's restaurants that are making food. We've got to go out and find drivers to get that food from the restaurant, get it into the hands of the hungry people. And we need people out there to spread the word that we exist, so they know there's a better option than, waiting 12 hours, 24 hours, for some of their food. I mean, you've got drivers for Uber Eats. I see it all the time. They'll accept an order, then see it's a cheap order, and they'll just cancel it. They'll pick up the food, drive by the house, honk a couple times. No one comes out, drives away, eats the order, cancels. Literally, the customer gets nothing. They're multiple billion-dollar companies. They don't care about individual customers. We do, especially if you're boots on the ground. You're the face of Trip Delivers. That's the difference maker between us and all these big companies. The price point's better. The customer experience is better. Our customers can make money by referring, but more importantly than anything, you're there. Your boots on the ground representing Trip Delivers. And the big boys, they don't have that. They're just some corporate organization out in San Francisco, firing out a sales team that goes in and then pulls them out, and it's over. You know, they're never going to get good service. It's like the guy that has the 25 locations. He said Uber sounded really good. They pitched a really good play, but now they're peeling off 30 grand a week and their service is awful. I can't get a hold of anyone. If a menu item, something's wrong, they're awful. They won't work with me at all. And they think I'm just locked in because I'm doing so much business, but I'm getting ready to peel those customers off away from Uber and send them to Trip Delivers. And so there's more and more restaurants that are looking to cut costs. If we go out and tell our story, we're going to sign them up. So that's pretty much what we've got going on the horizon. I'll throw it back to Bob and you know, definitely more than happy to open it up for some Q&A.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. That's a good information. One of the things that Tony is just talking about, and I've said this a lot, you know, over the last year or two, talking about the power of our business model. You don't have to be embarrassed about going to sell this product. We have the same technology as good as anybody on the planet right now. It's all enterprise. We can scale to 1 million rides, 1 million deliveries a day. We have no showstoppers at all in the system, but the power of the business model is the big differentiator here. And when you can save a restaurant chain $1 million a year, you're talking some serious money. You're not talking about some extra cash. This is $1 million a year that this guy is spending that he's going to put in his pocket. And that's the nature of our business. That's why we built the business model this way. We know we're so disruptive. That's why even like right now we had a half a dozen restaurants sign up with us last week in Nashville. No referral, no nothing. They went on, they signed up for the app. They went through the process. They signed themselves up. Why'd they do that? Because they understand $2 and $3. You know, I was talking to Tony the other day and I said, look, I'll go back on a phone call on this that I had with a lady in Nashville, and she does 1,000 orders a day out of her ramen kitchen or whatever you want to call it, 1,000 a day. I got on this call with her and she began to educate me for the next 12 to 13 minutes of what her business was about, what the delivery business was about, why it's so screwed up, why Uber Eats takes advantage of people, Postmates takes advantage of people, all this stuff. She never really heard from the company our real business model, how it worked. She couldn't even remember when somebody made the pitch to her, and the guys that made the pitch to her was probably a month ago, so they had to refresh her memory and all that stuff. And I said, look, our job's real simple. We pick something up and we take it from one place to another. That's our job. We don't want to manage menus. We don't want to manage pricing. All we want to do is pick up $2 or $3 every time we ask a driver. And we want to make sure our driver's compensated for his work. So we pay him 100%. In fact, what drove out of that conversation though, which was a good bit of tidbits, and Tony and I need to talk about this. I haven't even mentioned to him. I want to do a driver after midnight incentive program. So because after midnight, a lot of drivers don't want to, you know, they don't want to work, but there might be, you know, orders flying around, depends on the market. So we're going to come up with that. But to really understand the power of the business model is the essential component here that's going to drive this business through the roof. And as you can see, you know, how we had a corporate call with Denny's this coming week scheduled. We've got other corporate calls, big ones, small ones. You know, we're in the game. People can see the difference between the cost of what it costs them today and what it could cost them tomorrow if they're hooked in with our program. You don't get a Fortune 100 company like Restaurant Managers that jump on board with us, not knowing and understanding the amount of money that we can save their customer, which is the restaurants. And those are the things that you guys need to get behind. There's nothing that you should be ashamed of selling this. All you're doing is putting more money in people's pockets as you go along in the business. So just keep that in mind. Do not be afraid to talk to customers, people, tell them your story. You have to be an evangelist. And I know this stuff's not easy, believe me. I mean, I've been talking about this for 2.5 years. Tony's been doing this since 2016. He's hit every business in every town he's been in. And I'm telling you, when he says every, he means every. He didn't miss anybody. Because he knows if he missed somebody, that's taking money out of his pocket because he had a great business model also. So the point is, you got to get in the game if you want to win. If you want to sit on the bench, you can sit on the bench, but that doesn't mean you're going to hit 300 or 400. Just means you're going to sit on the bench and watch everybody else play the game. So anyway, let me open up to some of these questions here. Yeah, Amy, why don't you give me a hand here? One of them was, and I think it was Meredith. I always like to give Meredith a little, stuff because she's so tenacious. So she wanted to know if
I'll tell you exactly what she
Okay.
wants to know.
okay.
Can she come to the marketer meeting if she has 2 referrals? She's a legacy and she has 2 referrals that are waiting to sign up as a marketer.
No, I'm sorry, Meredith. No, you can't. This is for people that have gone the extra mile, and that's not saying you're not going the extra mile, but you got to get people signed up to get engaged. That's really the thing. We need engagement. We need people that are going to get on the ground and go to work and blow this thing up. We have a window of opportunity right now to really launch and get a foothold in this market. We get 20, 30 markets open, it's game over. There's nobody going to be able to compete with this business model. I'm telling you right now, those restaurants will be flocking over to you guys. Like, it's always the hardest part is getting started, getting up and saying, wow, I really do have something special here. So keep that in mind. Amy's going to lay off some questions.
A lot of questions, Tony. They've all got a man crush on you.
There you go.
Can they have your email address?
I'm typing it in the chat right now. Tony@tripleovers.com.
Boy, that's bold.
That's very bold because I always say, why?
Yeah.
Why do you want it?
Hey, yeah, I'm here to help you guys. So
Yeah.
reach out, let me know.
I did that. I gave him my phone number.
Oh, no.
It blew my phone up.
At 10 o'clock at night, Bob, how do I do something?
So anyway, but that's good. Look, I get nothing but unbelievable positive feedback about you, Tony. They love you in the field. You got the right attitude, the right stuff going on, man.
Hey,
Walt
guys.
Brown, can a person sign up for a marketer without a referral code? You know the answer.
Do I know the answer?
Yeah.
Of course.
Can they?
Yeah. Can't they? Oh, no, that's right. They have to be referred.
They have to be a
Yeah.
customer or a driver first.
Yeah, right.
And then they become a marketer on their refer and earn tab.
Yeah,
There's no direct way to become a marketer.
right.
They're all sharing their terrible food delivery stories.
Yeah.
Bruno,
Yeah, I hear them all the time. It's pretty amazing.
Bruno's in Nashville. He's offering to connect with anybody.
Someone
Yeah, one of the things we've had some leadership in Nashville complaining that we don't have Nashville meetings. Well, we have multiple meetings during the week. There's no reason just to have Nashville meetings. And if you want to have a Nashville meeting, you can set it up yourselves and ask me to come or Tony to come. We'd be happy to. We can't set up every meeting in the company in every market. That's why you guys are independent contractors. That's why we pay 60, 70% commissions on everything we do to incentivize you guys to go do it yourselves. That's the whole thing. If we didn't pay that much, it might be a different story. But you have to invite us to come to your, backyard because it's just Tony and ourselves to do this. So we have to manage our time. Our time is the most important ingredient we have, Tony and mine, and we have to make use of it 100% every day. So just jumping on a call to talk to 3 people or 2 people, we'd love to do it, but it's not productive of our time. And if you want to get on a call and find out what's going on, look, we have trainings every week, a couple of different trainings, whether in Spanish or English every week. It's just an ongoing process of what we do.
Sergey says, I try to get in contact with the franchise owners, but most franchises owned by a restaurant group. How should we get in contact with them?
It's a Tony question.
Yeah, so we've I guess over the years have developed national accounts with my old company, with Subway, Texas Roadhouse, Chick-fil-A, just quite a few companies, regionals like in the Midwest, Carlos O'Kelly's on the border. And it usually happens organically. A lot of the times, some of the franchises, their management is allowed to make a decision on delivery per location. And you start delivering for that one location, and then they can get you to their group if things go well. It's a pilot. What I recommend, and I really hung my hat. I mean, you hear stories of people that are getting franchises here and there, but there's so many ma and pops, And in certain markets, if you're looking to go after restaurants, I always go to the Yelp reviews, the Google reviews, find out what are the most popular local places. And that's where you want to hit the mom and pops, because number one, it's easy. It's quick. You're going to get to the GM or the owner right when you walk in, or when you make the call, or when you send the Facebook message. It's really easy to get to the decision maker. If when the Subway deal, to give you an idea, that was a 6-month process. And I'm not saying you don't want to take a shot at something like that, but those companies don't move quickly. You have to go through legal, you have to get NDAs signed, you have to send all this information out, you got to figure out what cities you can do. I mean, it's a really large undertaking sometimes because of what they require. And the bottom line is, I could walk into a local sandwich shop and walk out with a contract signed, locked and loaded. We got a month to month and we're delivering for them. I walked into a Chinese place one time and we hadn't even loaded their menu or anything. It takes us a couple of days to do that. So I walked into the Chinese place, we got them locked in. They wanted to deliver. And then as I'm walking out, somebody called in and asked if they deliver. And they said, hold on. And they said, would you take a delivery? I was like, sure, why not? I said, add on an extra few dollars. We weren't as cheap as Trip delivers. So I was like, add on more for the delivery, and then I'll take the food to them, So, the bottom line is local mom and pops are really where you're going to want to focus your energy. And I'm not saying you don't walk into a franchise, but if you walk in and the franchise says, hey, this is a corporate decision, you've got to go here. You try and ask for the information, do you know who I would need to contact? And then you send an email out. But while you're waiting on those big, franchises to kind of come to the table, go talk to 5 more mom and pops and go get them under your belt and lock them in. There's no reason to sit down and wait on a franchise deal to come through when most of them are going to take some time either way.
Yeah, one of the other things that came up, we have, when you go through the sign up process, a reason to sign up and then have somebody just pay $1, which is really to activate their account and make sure the card's working. That turns into also the back office. It starts lighting everything up. When you sign a restaurant up for free, it doesn't help us. In fact, it causes a problem instead of solves a problem. There should be no free sign up for restaurants, because then you have to go and change their status and sign them up again. And then they got to go through the process. Either you sign them up, charge them $1, and then when we open the market, then we're ready to go. It just makes things more simple. So what you guys, the ones that have signed up, which are a lot in the restaurant side of the business.
We're working with programming to decide what we're going to do with those free, because if we go back and sell them, then unfortunately that person that put them in for free isn't going to get that commission, because you could just sit there and open up Uber and then put in their address and name for free, and then we close them and then you make the commission. So we haven't decided yet what we're doing with those people, but we might clear them out.
Yeah, we haven't decided yet, but just and I've mentioned it before a couple of weeks ago about the free. Please do not put free restaurant signups in. All it does is make more work for the company.
And for you.
You got to understand, we are really cheap for a lot of reasons, because we control our operating costs. We're not managing menus. That's a big thing, so we don't want to do markups on menus, because that's, labor intensive. Signing up people for free and then coming back and re-signing them up is wasted energy. All these things matter over a period of time in a business model. Look, we've been through every inch of our business, and I'll go back and finish this story, which I didn't, on the Nashville lady that I talked to. So she went on for 12, 13, 14 minutes explaining her business model, how she worked, why Uber Eats and why these guys are so bad for her business. And she gave every scenario that you can imagine of what she wanted in a business. And I just let her go, because I was smiling the whole time she was talking, because she hadn't really gone through our business. And she was kind of angry when she was telling me. So she wasn't talking like a normal person, because she's got 3 businesses in Nashville and she feels like she's being taken advantage of. So when she got all done, I walked her through our business model, and you could hear her voice change through the whole 5 or 6 minute pitch I gave her. And she says, oh, you can do that, and you do this, and you do that. You don't manage this, and you have that. And I go, yeah, we have it all, babe. basically, and I walked her through it, and she was blown away. She couldn't believe it. So that's how you take somebody that's very knowledgeable about their business, who's doing 1,000 deliveries a day out of their ramen business, and you get them to come over to you, because that's an easy number. You know, it's 1,000 times $2.
Yeah.
You know, that's the delivery cost for the day. It's not 1,000 times 30% of, you know, a $25 or $30 order.
$12,000 a day. She's probably paying $10,000 a day in delivery fees.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. She was, you know, and she was trying to figure out. And then she was telling us, like, she was leading me on about, you know, you got to do this and this. And then over that period of the next 6 or 7 or 10 minutes, she was blown away about what we're doing. So we have a follow-on.
Because I kept getting out of the car.
Yeah.
And every time I would get in the car, she would be more and more soft. Like
Yeah.
Bob was teaching her. By the end of the call, they were like BFF. You know, come to Nashville and have some ramen on me.
Yeah, she's gonna save $3 million a year. She'll be pretty big fans of Trip Delivers. I can promise you that.
Yeah. So those are the things that are important to know. You have a real tool to go to work with. It's not kind of a tool. It is a real tool. You're saving people real money.
Yep.
Walt Brown signed up a marketer and they're not in his back office. So Walt, you go to email support@tripdelivers.com and we'll get that taken care of for you.
Yeah, anybody that has a problem, some of it's legacy issues that we've had, but they're getting cleaned up one by one. So if that's a problem, just hit support. Evelyn will get it cleaned up in 5 minutes, believe me.
The question is, Walt, did they show up before they became a marketer? Were they a customer or a driver?
I don't know.
I know. That's my question for you, Walt. Put that in the email.
Okay. Take a snapshot.
Yeah, but we can get that done for you, definitely. Jeff Willis, he's got some calls with people in Nashville. So Jeff is calling people and he's getting people to follow up. Lots of you are saying I'm placing ads and nobody's getting back to me. You see the difference? Jeff's putting in the work. He's calling them. You guys are going on and paying for an ad and expecting somebody to call you.
Yeah, and all you got to do is, if you want to recruit drivers, just do the free post on Facebook in their business side. You know, it's free. You'll get, believe me, you'll get a half a dozen people reach out to you pretty quickly within 24 hours.
Yep.
Anything else?
Not really, no.
Yeah. Well, that's good. What time is it? Jeez, 40 minutes.
Okay, so here's the question. If you pitch the restaurant owner and then they go and sign up on their own, how does that work? So they get the commissions. Tony,
Maybe
you want to answer that question?
Yeah, Tony. We throw all the hard ones back to Tony.
So if I pitch Bob and Bob took Bob's Burgers and went direct to the company, but then I say, oh, I'm the one that pitched him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you pitch a restaurant, you want to move them to sign up as a restaurant. But the bottom line is this: there's restaurant owners that I'm going to talk to, and I know, like, they've got a great network. A lot of restaurant owners are members of, the Chamber of Commerce. They're members of kind of restaurant organizations within their city. And so if I'm getting a feel from someone that they're entrepreneurial, they're already a restaurant owner, but if there's somebody that's a hustler, for lack of a better term, I'll throw out there to say, hey, you can sign up your own restaurant if you want. That doesn't hurt me. There's Connect 2 and Connect 3, so it's like, if I incentivize a restaurant owner to go sign up 30 other restaurants, that it would take me a lot of time, energy, effort, and I don't have the in. So it's a cold call for me. It's a lot tougher versus him calling them going, listen, I'm saving X amount of dollars. You need to do this. Well, what better marketer could you sign up? And the bottom line is, he going to do that. If he or she's going to do that, they'll become a marketer. So then I'm picking up stock options. I've got Connect 2 on them. And instead of them making 30% or whatever, they're going to make 50% off recruiting drivers. They're going to, recruit other restaurants. They're going to recruit customers for you. So, don't kid yourself. We talked to the owner of the Caribbean restaurant about helping to put Toronto on lockdown, because think of that story, right? You go from paying, $30,000, call it even $5,000 a week instead of 30. That's $25,000 a week, $100,000 a month, 1.2 million a year. You've got a heck of a story to go out and that guy can just get other restaurants. And I don't need someone like that to put in a lot of time, energy, or effort. You know, what I tell someone like that is, listen, hire me for free to build you another income stream. I need your network, and more importantly, your credibility with your network. And you can utilize my knowledge on trip delivers and how to share the information. So you plug me in, take 30 seconds, send a text message, say, hey, I've got a guy you need to talk to about delivery for your restaurant. Then they send back, let me know when you're free. Great. And then messages me, says, hey, here's when we talk. So if you're that marketer, you say, hey, hire me for free to rip through your network. I'll never embarrass you. I'll never pressure anybody. I'm going to share information just like I shared it with you. And when I shared it with you, you realize you're going to save whatever the amount is. Even if it's a small restaurant, you could save $80,000 a year and put that in your pocket. So now you plug me into your restaurant network, you plug me into people you know that might want to be drivers, and I'll go to work for you. And then you're just building up your Connect 2, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, the bottom line is you can make a ton of money off your Connect 2 and Connect 3, and you can sign up a lot of people using warm market. I'm not saying cold market's a bad idea. We run ads, we do all those things, but as soon as our best drivers that I got from cold market, I always went to those drivers and said, hey, who do you know that would be a great driver? And they always recruited better drivers than our cold market ads would. Out of our cold market ads, we might get, out of 10 drivers that we sign on, 1 or 2 would be really strong drivers that we could count on, and we could know that he or she would always be ready to take an order. But then if we got referrals, it was probably closer to 5 out of 10 of referrals from good drivers that they referred us other good drivers. So the bottom line is, when you're talking to a restaurant, it's your decision. I would always try and bring them on just straight as a restaurant. But if they were, asking buying questions on becoming a part of the Trip family, then don't hold back. I mean, don't stop yourself from allowing them to become a marketer and rip through their network and help them sign up a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of drivers, and obviously they'll refer their customer base over. We wanted this owner of the Caribbean place to be rewarded, so he could literally spread us throughout every restaurant in Toronto, and that's his plan. He wants to really corner that marketplace. So we've got options, guys. It's a no-lose situation for you, whether they sign themselves up as a restaurant under you or whether they become a restaurant for you. I think it's a win-win.
Yeah. So you guys understand what Tony just did? So this is called mindset. So he took a negative situation and turned it into an advantage for him. And that's what you guys got to think about when you're out working and you're doing this. I often see a lot of these questions start with negatives. You have to get your mind right. You got to get your mindset right and be positive and think through the process before you ever knock on that door. You have to be fully loaded with information on how to answer any question. And if you don't have an answer for it, that's the time then you hit Tony up or hit me or grab somebody that's got knowledge base that can help you answer those questions. But what he just did is an example of a professional looking down the road on how to have the right mindset to close a transaction. And it was started with a negative that ends up in a positive that ends up in not just one unit, multiple units. So you guys got to think through those processes every time. Don't get defeated before you ever get out of the box. I mean, I get the craziest text messages sometimes, and they're all negative related. How come you guys are doing this? Well, how come you did this? I rarely get somebody that says to me, hey man, I just signed up a restaurant, give me a, and I will, if you tell me, I'll give you lots of, that, but just start using your mind to drive your success. It's really that simple. Any other questions?
Tony is the man.
He's the dude.
Thanks. Appreciate it. And my video, guys, the restaurant recruiting video is not going to mention to a restaurant owner how to become a marketer, any of that stuff. I'm not going to mention that. That's up to you. If you decide that that's an angle you want to take with a specific owner, knock yourself out. But if they watch one of my videos, all they're going to understand is the same thing they'd understand with Uber or DoorDash or whatever, is they can sign up as a restaurant to have us deliver for them. And the difference is, instead of paying hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars a year in commissions, they're going to pay thousands or tens of thousands in commissions for the same amount of orders. And so we're going to just pitch them on becoming a restaurant. If you want to take it further than that, that's up to you, which, like I said, we've already done that with certain restaurants because it just made sense. It made sense with that owner. It's like, you know, if you invite people to a birthday party and you're by yourself, and you know, you have a surprise party you're throwing for your best friend, you can invite so many people, and there'll be a decent party. But if you get with your 10 other best friends and you say, hey, we're going to throw a surprise party, invite everyone you know, the party's going to be a lot bigger. And that's kind of how I look at it with certain restaurants. It's like, I don't want to mess with them. They're focused on what they're doing. The pandemic's hit them so hard. You know, I don't need them focusing on anything other than, hey, just become a restaurant partner. But this guy's still doing pretty well, even through the pandemic. And so, you know, he's somebody that was talking like he wanted to plant his flag and help us grow. And so, you know, we discussed with him the ability to do that. And so as we open Canada, that's something he might pursue, and he might not. I threw it out there for him, but each and every one of you have that option, and that's going to be up to you completely. I am not going to put that on the video, just so you know.
I think this is Paul. Paul says, our job is to make sure we close them and get them under us. It's our business. Trip just build us an amazing platform and compensation plan.
Yep. It's pretty simple.
Pretty good
And that's exactly it. One thing I learned in business over the last, I don't know, 40 years plus, whatever, is if you keep it really simple so people can understand. And that's why we have a subscription-based model for the drivers. That's why we have a flat fee for the restaurants. That's why we do it very easily, because it's hard to forget. It's $3 if you're, a non-member, and $2 if you're a member. It's real simple. It's how do you charge? That's it. When you say that to a restaurant who's been paying 30, 40%, they almost don't even believe you. How can you make money is the question they ask. And we make money by making sure that we control our operating costs. Most people don't focus in on the operating side of their business before they ever build it. And we have. And that's the reason that a lot of this taken a while, because all the customization in the back office is electronic. I mean, all the things we do is to cut costs by keeping humans out of the way. It's real simple. In fact, I just saw a car manufacturer yesterday, and I hadn't seen one in a long time in a video, how they make cars today. And I was just kind of blown away watching the technology. There's like very few people on that assembly line to do anything. And if they were, they're, just screwing a screw in or locking a bolt down. That was it, Same thing here. It's automation and technology, and then taking people that have been there, done that. In the case of Tony, who has a wealth of information. I mean, almost invariably on anything I do now, because Tony's been on board, I go to him for, if I have a question about anything that has to do with deliveries, because he's been doing it so long. And the thing that he's done, that's, to me, that's more incredible. He started from scratch. He built his business, as they say, one brick at a time. That's how he built his business. One business at a time, week after week, day after day, going in, fighting the fight, selling the company, and he did it very successfully. So he knows a lot of the problems that these companies have, even more than the big companies, Uber Eats and the people like that, because they just hire somebody and they don't have the vested interest of the company at heart. And so they're not looking for ways to solve problems or ways to grab more business. And that's what Tony had to do. He's in the game. He's got an operating overhead. He's got to start bringing on restaurants and drivers and all the deliveries. And, how do you sort that out technology wise? This is not an easy game for people to figure out. Believe me, this is a more complicated game than you can imagine before you ever get into it. Oh, this looks easy. It's got geo-targeting. It's got this, it's got that. Well, yeah, it's got all that stuff, but hooking those things up and making them work is like right now, we're just doing cities and markets right now. Because when we did them originally, we did them without any real knowledge, which was a mistake. So we're going to have all that changed over in the next, probably 2 or 3 days. but those are things that we learned from Tony, just asking questions, you know, how do you do this? So anyway, any more
It's a good
questions?
closing from George Graham. Never
Okay.
give up. I went through 500 and now I got a big one and I'm still working.
Yeah, did you hear that about George Graham? George Graham may never have to work another day in his life. If this all works out with restaurant managers. I mean, he brought that to us.
When this all works.
Well, yeah, when it works out, it's going to work out. Listen, one thing I did hear in the voice of this CEO, who's the CTO, was a pleasant surprise when he saw our API.
Yeah.
You know, he thought it was for real, and you know, so George is there's a guy that never quits.
George,
And-
we're coming on your boat.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody. I hope everybody had a great, safe holiday. We got a lot of work to do. Got a busy year coming up. We'll keep stepping up our game every week as we get better. Don't be afraid to send us emails and let us know if there's things that you think we need to do as a company. We may not agree with it all the time. Doesn't mean we have to agree with it. Doesn't mean you have to agree with us all the time. But what it does say, we have open communication so we can learn from each other. And that's the most important thing when you're building a company. Tony, you got anything you want to wrap up, bud?
Hey, I think timing and positioning is everything, guys. We're at the right place at the right time. We just got to put the work in, and you know, some of you guys are starting to do that, and we're definitely proud of that. And again, we're here to assist you. I'll over the next few days be kicking out, you know, some more tools and some more you know, parts of the system that are going to help you guys that are out there in the field, boots on the ground. So, you know, that's what our job is, and anything we can do to assist, let us know.
And Verb's just around the corner. I get calls on it. Tony's been working on it for the last 3 weeks now, and he's got it in pretty good shape. I think it's going to come pretty quick. You guys are going to be really excited with it when you see it. So
Solid, very
it's gonna
solid.
be killer stuff. All right, guys. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it. I'll call you back in 5, Tony. Okay?
That's good. All right.
Thanks, pal.
Take care,
Thanks.
everybody.
Bye.